We are back once again.
Hello, hello,
Yeah.
hello.
Good morning.
Huh?
Good morning. I'm your host, Carl Williams. I got my two lovely, intelligent guests, Dee Dee and Theo Broden.
Yes. Thank you for having us.
And we know we're going to have a hot show today.
Da 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 da.
And before we go any farther, let me read this before, because we get into it, we beat and forgot. Hood Research are having a 25th anniversary gala Sunday, July 30th, 2017 at Thompson Manor, 14900 Windmill Point Drive, Grosse Pointe Park, Michigan, 48230. Dinner and evening with
Mike Bonner.
Mike Bonner.
Hmm.
Admission $45. It starts at 5 o'clock.
Hmm.
For more information, you can call 248 234 2371.
Uh, Mike Bonner is an excellent comedian. But what I'd like to do is share directions to Tompkin Manor. When you go east on Jefferson, you cross Alta Road, and you come to Lake Point. You make a right-hand turn on Lake Point, go all the way down to the end, and that's Windmill Point Drive. Make a left, and you're there. Easy. There are a lot of other complicated ways to get there, but that's the simplest one. Jefferson to Lake Point, right on Lake Point, and left on Windmill Point Drive, 14900 Windmill Point Drive.
Well, I'm glad you gave that information because I wasn't even familiar with Wind Point.
Windmill Point.
Windmill
Oh,
Point.
okay. And they also need to know that tickets are available right here at WHPR. And when you call the number for any other information, just leave your name and I'll return the call.
That's very good.
A good time is going to be had.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Party.
We need
Party,
everybody to come help
party.
us celebrate.
I think I heard you say something about Fast Freddy yesterday.
Oh, yes, yes,
oh.
yes. We're expecting Fast Freddy to be there so that you can check a tail feather, dance, do the hustle and ballroom and work some of those calories off.
Well, y'all better get all your vitamins and get yourself together.
But you're a good
Get
dancer,
ready.
too, sure. Get
Been
out
a
there.
while. It's been a
Oh,
while.
goodness, goodness, goodness.
I got to get started now so I can get back into the groove.
That's right. You got a little bit of time to practice.
Yes.
A silent auction?
Yes, ma'am. We're going to have a silent auction as well. Yes.
No, I heard you
Yeah.
yesterday, and I'm thinking about all the good things you were saying, and I'm driving on the freeway trying to figure out, nah, I better not try and make that phone call.
Uh-oh. And also walk down memory lane to talk about some of the things that you remember being with Hood Research and many of the things that we did, things that we accomplished. And we had a lot of fun, and we had some serious issues that we attacked as well.
Didn't you guys used to have a parade?
Yes,
Yeah.
a business parade right
Black
now on
businesses?
Woodward Avenue. Hmm. And
I got some shirts.
I had this paper doll of President Barack Obama, and he was in the car, and we're going down Woodward Avenue, and the folks just started screaming, "Barack Obama, Barack Obama!" Oh, but it was really nice. And we had, oh, geez, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 different business parades, and the businessman, Don Barton, was one of the head of the parade once, and Tommy Hearns was the leader of the parade once. And you know what was really cool was the police officers on motorcycles. We had a motorcycle brigade going down Woodward Avenue, and they were all African American riders. It was cool. It was.
You
Yeah,
have
and
a
as
very good memory.
oh man, and as a matter of fact, if there's anybody out there who has some pictures or videotape, please call Hood Research 248-234-2371. We would like to have your assistance in getting us a copy. And you remember when Robert Kennedy came to Detroit and he dedicated that area which is now where Campus Martius is. They didn't want the community to gather there. They have a site like that in Washington, D.C. And all you have to do is make a reservation. You can go to Washington, D.C., and you can gather. It's for the citizens. Well, here in Detroit, Robert Kennedy did the same thing. And we would culminate at the site. There was a small water fountain, a large stage, an area we had vendors and all, and we would gather there at the end of the parade. Well, you must know that Dennis Archer had it torn down. And, of course, we got Campus Martius today. So, I mean, so much for respect for Robert Kennedy. Yeah. Well, that was one of the things that happened. Yeah.
You know,
Mm.
one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is this so-called, some people call it a riot, some people call it a rebellion. And there's a lot of things that is missing
Okay.
as much as they have added. I haven't seen the picture, but I'm going to make sure I go out and view it, because they seem to be wanting to paint this narrative with this picture that black people are violent.
Oh, gotcha.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do. Yes,
And
yes.
because when I seen the trailer, they showed a little bit on TV about it, and I said, well, wait a minute. This ain't what I remember. So, I think that we're going to have to, we all have different experience back then, and we need to put it out there so the people get the true understanding of what really happened back there.
Okay.
Because wasn't no black people sitting in no back room planning to go out here and do all of this.
What you just got through saying, doesn't that go along with what Trump is talking about with black people, the narrative that we're violent?
Oh, yeah.
And like, why are they pushing this? I mean, this was something that was negative. This is like they were pushing this like everybody graduated the same time, the same day in Detroit. They're making movies. They're having things down at the museum. And it's mostly millenniums that are pushing this, and they weren't even born.
They don't even know what happened.
What happened? They're going by, oh, we saw
Hearsay.
right,
Hearsay. That's all it is.
Somebody took a
Hearsay.
home movie. That's only one little tiny perspective.
Yeah, well, isn't it curious that we have a election going on now? Mayoral election, preparation for the gubernatorial election. And why not? Why not scare folk? Why not make them think that all black people are violent? They take drugs, they steal, and all of the other things that go along with that. So that when the election comes up, you make it a racial election.
Carl, you said something earlier about the, oh God, it
But
was
the
so,
young people not being aware?
that and something else about the Jewish people.
Oh, yeah, well, in the rebellion, a lot of those buildings
And the insurance,
businesses.
riot.
Those businesses on 12th Street,
Yes.
those Jewish owners,
Yes.
they collect money off the insurance
Yes.
from them stores. And
Yes.
this part, you never hear.
Yeah.
You never hear. And I have to ask myself, why is it that they continue to leave this out when that was a well-known fact?
Well, because they're not trying to tell the truth.
Oh, the truth. What
it's
is that?
called, it's called the truth. Is something they hide over in the corner in the dark, and they put out this propaganda. Let me tell you something I know about. Charles Furniture Store. Do you remember Charles Furniture Store?
Up on the boulevard,
Yeah.
on the Grand River, and
There's a what do you call it, I guess, three-way intersection. The boulevard crosses Grand River right there, and there is a gas station there now. There was a furniture store there then. The name of the furniture store was Charles Furniture Store. Okay, now Dexter came into that intersection as well. So if you lived on Dexter, you could look out your window and you could see the back of Charles Furniture Store. Okay? While this so-called riot, which is really a response to police brutality. While it
One
was
of them.
going on, yes, there was a gentleman and his family who lived there in Washington who happened to have been one of the presidents of the NAACP. And he and his family, lived right there. They could look out their window and see the back of Charles Furniture Store. Well, now, an 18-wheeler, not driven by black folk, pulled up to the back of Charles Furniture Store, loaded furniture on the truck, and left. So the owner of that furniture store was able to file for insurance. Now, what was interesting about this truck, an 18-wheeler, huge truck, it had Ohio license plates on it.
Yeah.
Ohio. Not a Charles Furniture Store truck. Not a U-Haul from Detroit on Living or wherever. This truck came from Ohio. Pulled into Charles Furniture Store. They gathered up the furniture on this truck and just moved right on out. So they could say whoever they wanted to blame. Oh yeah,
They
they
opened
came
up
and they
on,
took the
didn't they open back up on Grand River and down there by West Chicago?
Oh, I don't know about
I-
that.
I do.
I'm not saying they didn't, but Charles
Yeah, 'cause
Furniture.
Charles
reopened on-
Furniture Store, that's how I found out about the riots.
Oh, okay. They reopened on where? and
No,
where?
what I'm saying is that my friends, I didn't know there was anything going on,
Uh-huh.
and they said, let's go up there to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Charles Furniture Store. That's when you said that. I was like, da-da. And
Red light come on, huh?
yeah, right, right. My mother told me if I went up there, she's going, my mom, she used to wear a strap around her neck 24/7. But anyways, I could not go up there. But that's how I found out there was rebellion, riot, or whatever going on. And it's funny you should say that about that truck.
Because
No, that was Valentine's Furniture that moved
one of
up
the
there.
things that made me go out
Oh,
because
okay.
they was showing this parade, and I got to get some information on that to find out the exact date, because that was one of the things that made me want to go outside. But that particular day, my father was at home, and I'm looking at these frog men walking down the street with these spear guns, and they had these frog flappers on and the green full gear.
The fins.
The mounted police, and they had the marshals, and they had and they walking down the street, and I'm looking at them saying, got a little band going. So I wanted to go out.
okay.
My father said, "You ain't going nowhere." Now, I didn't think about it at the time, but as I got older and different people had different reflections on that, my father knew something that I didn't.
That you could have got killed.
Yeah.
That's what he knew.
What street was it on?
What?
You know
When it
that-
The
started?
parade. The parade.
Oh, where was it?
Now that's debatable, because I've been hearing that it was 12th. Then I heard somebody say that it was Woodward. So I can't see it being Woodward. So I'm not sure on that. I'm gonna do a little research and find out the exact street it was on, but I believe it was 12th.
Well, it seems that might have been a show of force.
Yeah.
Could have been, because the beginnings of it happened in the after I was joined on 12th Street in Claremont. And when the police went in to raid the place, they were pushing folk around and all of that. And they pushed this prostitute down the steps. So now, now, wait a minute. Regardless to what she is or does, she's our friend. You have no right, she's a human being, to push her down the steps. It was on after that. It was truly on. So also, John Conyers and Martha Jean, and I guess there were a few others who tried to go through the community to calm it down, but they weren't interested in hearing from them. They were sick and tired of police brutality. And that's what went on that night. It was July 23rd.
Miss Watson, Joanne Watson, had said that her girlfriend was there and was getting ready to leave to go home, and came down the steps, and when she saw the police take an axe and make it go through the door, then they saw this white police officer's face. They chased him back upstairs. Now they on their way trying to go home, and arrested all of them, and when they came with the paddy wagon. Okay, with the intent of no matter what.
Right. Right. To create a situation. Yeah.
You also talking about the numbers, people, and how they portrayed that as a hoodlums
gangster.
and gangsters in the neighborhood when they were the backbone of economics in the black community.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
See, the point that I was making is we have to be very careful when we go to these movies because they have changed the narrative of what really happened. Just like the numbers we were talking about. Every time you see a movie about the numbers man, they always paint him as being a gangster. That wasn't true. The number of people was ordinary citizens trying to survive. See, we got to remember back then you couldn't go to no white bank and borrow no money.
Right.
They might. Some of them didn't even want you to have a savings account there, let alone talking about borrowing some money.
Right.
So the dynamics, the environment was totally different.
Yeah. Well, it was a business. It was a business. And the city was divided up into territories. Okay. You hear the name Wingate used all the time, but Wingate was not the only one
There was a lot
who
of them.
backed the numbers. Right. The city was divided into
The
territories.
Hugheses.
And what and
Yeah,
what they
few of 'em.
did was they provided employment.
Yes.
Education.
Oh, absolutely. And there was one where there were 5 children who were burned in this house of, I don't know, water tank, furnace, whatever it was, caused a fire. And this one man who backed the numbers paid for the funerals of all 5 of those people that died in that fire. Now, they had, how it worked was, there was a few houses in the territory where you would go and place your bet, okay? And that was one line of employees. There was a second one where they had the people who would go around and pick up the numbers and the money that correspond with that. Another line of employment. There was someone who was security for the numbers runners, what they call them. So that's a third line, okay? Then they would bring it back to the main office, if you will, and there were bookkeepers there who tallied up everything, made sure that it was okay. Now that's a fourth line. Then you had the person who would do the payout. It had to be delivered back to those who received the bets in the first place. Okay, that's a fifth line, or responsibility. And the numbers backers paid tuition, college tuition.
That's
A lot of the
right.
young people in the community.
Wingate did sent a number
He
of them.
did and like I said, paid. This one that I know paid the funerals, and others, paid funerals of various ones who were not able to do that. They also, like you mentioned earlier, they made loans to the people in the community.
Most
Right.
people bought homes by land contract, so they were able to manipulate that.
Right, and they helped with that. The community was calm, okay, because they kept control in the community.
And they kept the money in
Like
the community.
right. And that's
would
in that point,
recirculate,
patronize,
recirculate,
circulate in
okay?
the community. And like Coleman Young said, how did he put it? Something about one of the best things for poverty is a good job.
Yes.
Well, the numbers backers
And crime.
provided crime, right?
Right.
Provided opportunities for the people in the community to have jobs. So it was a whole system that was run very well.
Very
you know?
well.
So I don't know, some white folk up there looking, why is it so calm in that community? And come to find out, all these pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters were adding up. Same thing happened in New York. And there was, numbers of policy, I guess they called it there.
Yeah,
And
policy slips.
now that's where the gangs came in,
Yeah.
the white gangs decided, and all this. So they decided to take it. And then here in Detroit, the legislator said, well, you know, they got too much good going on in that community, so we're going to take it. So they just dusted it off and renamed it lottery, took it out of our community, and replaced it with drugs here. Y'all handle this.
Yeah, and one thing that they did, you know, yeah, people back then was poor. We didn't have a whole lot of money, and sometimes you had to borrow money from the number lady or the number man just to make groceries. See, but the things that we're talking about now are left out,
Yep.
and you get the wrong impression of what the number man is, and the what you call the young people, the millennium.
Right.
Millennium.
They'll have the thought that they were gangster rather than the real actual truth.
And
That's why I was telling you on the way here that we have to put our narrative out there of what really happened, or they'll change history.
They're starting to do it now. Okay, they've got the storytellers of Detroit, and
Oh,
and you look
Lord.
and see. Okay, because
Storytellers.
each neighborhood had a different story. If we talked about the rebellion that happened on the west side, where were you at, Carl?
East side. I was
Where were
on
you
east
at, CL?
side.
Where were you at? Where
West
did you?
side.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, right
So,
there
but
at
it was
12th.
different.
I was right around the corner from the Chit Chat Lounge. For those of you who are familiar with the Chit
Yeah.
Chat, and
Little Mary's up on Grand River.
and Ken Bell was the he used to broadcast from the Chit Chat. But that I think is very important to share. We were not about violence and crime
That's
in,
right.
in our community, but I want to know how much of the brutality by the police are they going to include? Because your grandfather and your granduncle or great grandfather, one come down the street from one direction and the other, and they meet on the corner. How you been? And they just stand there and talk about
Talk,
old
yeah.
times or getting together to watch a game or go to a game or something. And here come this big police car, okay, the big four. They had one uniformed cop driving and the other three. And at that time, they tell me they all had to be over 6 feet tall. So when they stepped out of the car, they, looked
Intimidating.
really, really intimidating. And they would say, nigga, don't be on this corner when we come back around the block. Now here are two senior citizens just talking to each other, minding their own business, and they get intimidated, threatened by the police.
And we'll get beat down if you didn't move fast enough.
Exactly. And there was another thing that would happen because there were numerous businesses that were not yet open to our people. So there was a lot of entertaining that went on in the home, in the backyard, and in the summertime, the men would sit in the backyard at a card table and maybe play, I don't know, poker, pinochle, whatever.
Or something.
And the cops would ride down the alley, stop, get out, come in your yard. If there was any money on the table or in your pocket, they took it.
Took it, yeah.
Now, how many people remember that?
Yeah, you don't hear no people
Is
say
that gonna be in the movie?
I doubt it.
Mm.
If it is, it really surprised me.
Me
Uh,
too.
What
But,
about the
you know-
Algiers Motel? I knew the guys.
Oh, okay. Well,
They lived
Oh,
around the
tell
block
us
from
about
me, the
that.
Pollards.
Tell us about that.
Matter of fact, that day before, that Thursday,
Yeah.
they were walking down Vancouver, and I was like about 13, but I had like a rumpa-dum-dum, and the guy was observing it, and my mom was sweeping the porch, and she told him, "You leave my daughter, don't be looking at my daughter like that," and started sweeping down the sidewalk, and I'm like, dang, it's like she's sweeping him away. Sure enough, he ended up away from here, him and his brother.
Dead?
Yeah.
He was one of the ones at
it
Algiers
was
Motel.
Two of them, two of the guys that were at the Algiers Motel were walking down the street, like I said,
Oh.
flirting, which to me, I'm 13, I'm like, dog, these are, ta-da, you know what I'm saying? But then when I saw the pictures, and the young lady upstairs had run away from home, but she says, I don't know how true it is, that she was there when the whole thing went down with the white girls and the whole 9 yards. You know, the shooting by the police officers and everything.
Well,
I
now
wonder if
that-
anybody else saw that.
Wow. Well, call in if you do. Now, these white girls were prostitutes, we were told. Is that what was reported to you?
That's what I was told.
And the one of the officers, it was reported, got caught because he had a cat and he lost his comb and it was cat hairs in his comb or something. Is that how they identified him? Anyway, if anybody who remembers part of that story, call in and let us know. Yeah.
Well, we got a few callers.
Oh, good. Hey, get the
let's see
callers. Let's see what they remember.
Caller, you on the air?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning. Happy
Um,
Tuesday.
Yeah, did you hear about the Detroit Economic Club? They had a discussion about the 67 rebellion of all institutions. This group was me. I think they was yesterday, a couple days ago at Motor City Casino, and they concluded that the issues have not been resolved yet, and we need to stay tuned. I don't know what they're up to, but you know, entities like that were responsible for fueling discord in our community. So
You said that. Can you repeat who that was that had that?
Detroit Economic Club. You know that group down there that runs
Yeah.
Detroit.
They
Yes.
do they meet at the DAC?
They met at Motor City Casino
At the casino. Okay. Okay.
about the 67 rebellion.
Right. Okay.
Why are they
Wow.
playing this up so much, caller?
Huh?
Why are they playing this up?
What?
In
You
your
know,
opinion?
it's I don't know, but you know, one thing that I'm not that interested in looking at a movie produced out of Hollywood about our situation here. But one thing I did find that I think is interesting is there's going to be a play called Afterlife at the Joseph William Walker Williams Center.
On
And
12th
it's
Street.
about black women and their experiences during the rebellion, which I thought,
Wow.
I think is a different perspective than some of the things you have been saying today.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be, let me see this date here, on the 28th at the Joseph Walker Williams Center
Yes.
at 8431 Rosa Parks Boulevard.
Yes. 12th Street.
And
Could you repeat that address?
What's that?
That's Virginia Park and 12th Street.
Okay.
The address again.
Rosa Park, 8431 Rosa Parks Boulevard.
8431. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And the play talks about the fact that 8,000 people were arrested, including 887 women and 33 girls. So this play is written by assistant Dr. Lisa Biggs, and it's about the perspective of black women and what they experienced during this rebellion. So I can't wait to see it. This is something I would recommend.
Yeah, that
Like I was
sounds
just talking about.
Yeah, that sounds really good. Now, I'm not trying to rebut you when you say Rosa Parks Boulevard. I just have issues with the fact that they renamed 12th Street after a woman who was held in such high esteem, and the street looks like crap.
Yeah.
And Hood Research did a
Tell me
20-page
about-
report with pictures, took it to the Detroit City Council, and asked them to work on updating that street. It runs from the river to 6 Mile, which is known as McNichols, and nothing
Well,
has
you know-
been done.
You know, I know that I lived over there for a while, and I know some people still over there. I was just talking to somebody this morning. You know, they let it go down purposely to bring down the values and all that. Now these white women with flowers and wicker baskets are over there on Taylor and Euclid planting flowers, and you know that's the way they start. You know, church groups
Yes.
are involved.
Yeah.
You know, that's like they did in Africa. You know, bring in the missionaries, give them Jesus, and then they take the land.
In come
And
the
they do same
missionaries.
thing over there.
Then comes the military. After
Yeah,
which,
then the
the
military.
mercenaries. Yeah.
But more information on this place called Afterlife. And
Afterlife.
I got an email on this, and it really,
Okay.
I thought it was exciting. It's 313-309-1683. and
309
it's on the 28th
1683.
at the
I got it.
Joseph Walker.
Oh, okay. And it's
Williams.
on the July 28th, right?
Yes.
July
I'm
20.
trying to
Okay.
find the date.
Yeah,
I mean the
sounds very.
time, but call that on that
Oh,
number.
thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah, we like that
That
information.
sounds more interesting than the movie.
Yeah, because I'll be,
Yeah, this is going to be right from the black woman's perspective
Right,
too. What
right,
they,
absolutely. I really
yeah.
am interested in seeing that. Thank you for that.
thank you, we really appreciate it.
Call that number.
All right, y'all have a
Really
great day.
give us
Okay.
something to talk about.
Thank you,
Okay.
caller.
Next.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
Caller, you on the air?
Afterlife.
Good morning, everyone.
Happy
Good morning.
Tuesday.
Yeah, happy Tuesday to you too. This is Kwame.
Okay.
Well, I remember 12th because my grandmother stayed on 12th, and she actually ran an half-hour joint.
Can you talk up a little louder?
Right into the mouthpiece of the phone, Kwame. We can't hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
better.
Okay, I remember 12th because my grandmother stayed on 12th, and I remember all of the businesses. I remember the Cuttinghams that was right there on the boulevard,
Mm-hmm.
and
That's right.
12th.
Southeast corner. Yep.
Yeah, I remember all of that. You
Uh-huh.
know, because me and my sister used to love to go to see my grandmother, and it was a beautiful place. You know. And,
There was a black-owned
and,
drugstore on Atkinson and 12th Street, Kwame, called Odell's Drugstore. Black-owned. Go ahead.
Okay, well, you know, I was about 10 or 11,
Uh-huh.
and you know, it was just a beautiful place. It was we always had a good time when we went to see my grandmother. We loved to see my grandmother, and
Mm-hmm.
it was just a beautiful place. And I remember when the riots occurred, and I remember a lot of black men in the middle of the street, walking down the middle of the street of 12th, crossing the boulevard, looking for white people to kill. I mean, they, you know, that's what somebody told me in the car when I saw them. But it was a group of them, and they had blood on their pants and all that kind of stuff. But you know, this, you know, I look at it astrologically, and I call it a rebellion because you put two planets together, and which was Uranus and Pluto. Now, with those two planets together, anything can happen. And Uranus rules rebellion. So it was a rebellion, but it also rules individualism. And then when you start dealing with Pluto, you're dealing with power, and you're dealing with certain things that are still happening because of that rebellion, like the Republicans, what they're going through. Our current president and Obama is clear. When Uranus went into Pisces, he became president, which is the opposite sign Uranus was in during the rebellion, and that's pretty clear. But a lot of things are still going on. We're still developing from that, and during this time, the Shrines of the Black Madonna was preaching apocalyptic nationalism, having to do with the God coming into history and making changes, and all of this is actually mapped out in the heavens. Now, Jimi Hendrix, with that Star Spangled Banner, he brought everything to closure, and nobody knew he was going to do that song. But that song represents a dream deferred. The way he played it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't.
I don't.
You know, Jimi Hendrix played the Star Spangled Banner,
Right.
and you know, Jimi Hendrix psychedelic, and he
Right.
he
Was
put
it
a-
on one of his albums?
Yeah, at Woodstock.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
he was
okay.
at Woodstock. Okay, got it.
He played that song at
At
Woodstock,
Woodstock. Mm-hmm.
and he was the last one performing, and they really didn't know what he was going to do.
Another call.
But that particular song really told the story of the last 200 years to what we, in terms of what we're going through, all the way up to what we're going through right now, and what we will go through if we don't really get our principles together.
Right.
Well, thanks for that information.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Caller, you on the air? Caller? Caller, you on the air? Well,
Hello.
Yeah.
go right ahead.
Sorry about that. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I think we should protest that doggone movie because I didn't like it when I seen it. I think it gave a bad image, and like you say, it's not the truth. I don't know who made it, but
Now, what movie did you go see?
counteract that and protest that because
You saw the trailer, caller?
You said a movie? Oh.
no, I just seen the previews of it. I'm like, what the
trailer.
heck is that?
Oh, yeah.
That ain't
sorry.
I
Detroit.
just couldn't say.
That ain't what happened in those
Netflix
67,
is saying
68.
trailer.
Who the heck made that movie?
They shot it in Boston. I understand they only did like 2 days of shooting in Detroit. They did not use Detroit's citizens to make it either, I understand.
Well, I'm going to see it not to support it, but just to see the narrative that they're trying to put down. So I
I
could.
wouldn't give him $1.
We
I'm
can wait.
gonna
We
give 'em a
can wait
dollar
till it comes
for it.
on the
So you know,
reruns
if you
on
got
TV.
That's right. You ain't got to go
Stuff like that.
see it.
Don't have to go to the theater. And what was interesting?
'Cause it won't be
somebody
long
told us
nowhere.
at the Fox.
I would like to know who did that movie, who wrote it, who directed it. I would like to know that.
If the information is probably on the internet.
Yeah.
You can find everything on the internet. So it's probably on there. Did you come across who produced it?
Well, on that note, I
didn't
just want
read
to let
that
y'all
part.
know and your guests know that, and all your listeners know that let's get up and get out of here and vote. Let's register. So we can get
That's
Coleman
what's
Young.
important right now. Yeah.
Yes,
And
that's very
That's
important.
the most important thing right now.
VIP, vote in the primary.
Which is August the 8th.
Yep.
And people can go to the Wayne County campus, which has ample parking right there on Southfield and Outer Drive, or the other one on the east side,
side.
I-94 and Connor. Both of them have, oh man, they are so user friendly. So you don't have to worry about getting a $45 ticket. You can go in and vote there early, or go to your own precinct on August the 8th. Those are two places I recommend. You know.
I'm glad he mentioned about the voting thing because it's quiet.
Yes, yes.
Nobody's really talking
Isn't
about
that
it.
something?
They ain't saying not one word because they're using this other stuff as a distraction out here.
They want you
cleaning
to
streets.
sleep it.
They out here calling.
Have you seen, caller, have you seen the street cleaners? I keep on saying to people, caller, have you seen the street cleaners? It's not quiet.
Just run the old sweepers down through there.
It's not quiet. They've got signs. Subliminal messages are being sent out, if I said the word correctly. Those street cleaner signs are just like vote for Duggan signs. Okay? On every street. Okay, I don't know about the west side, but I know the east side, East English Village, the whole east side, they've got those yellow signs out there. That's the city's way of paying for those vote for Duggan signs.
Campaign, yeah.
Okay.
It's a campaign trick. That's like the clerk, the current city clerk has a campaign trick going on too. The commercials, oh, we have new voting machines. Well, why isn't the elections director doing those commercials?
Right.
The elections director is the one who's supposed to be running the election. But the city clerk pops up everywhere to talk about elections. And yes, elections comes under the city clerk, but there is a department head for elections, and that's the elections director, and that's
that
who
Baxter?
should be doing that's who should be doing the commercials, not her. So that's
know
an
that
easy
movie-
way to pay for her campaign.
Looting the movie, looting the one about the elections and the write-in candidacy for Duggan. That movie is going to be shown tomorrow at
Oh.
St. Joseph's Episcopal Church at 8850 Woodward at 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. tomorrow. Looting Detroit, the movie. Sylvia calls in and talks about that all the time. They show the ballots where they had the write-in. Okay, they show the
Where
commercial.
the signatures look alike.
Exactly. So that's going to be shown tomorrow and tomorrow evening,
Okay.
What time? You do
6
know?
o'clock.
6 o'clock. Okay.
Yes. I got a post
flyer?
on that. Yeah, they sent me a
Okay.
text message. I
Now,
just got a
where
text
did you
message.
say it was going to be shown again?
St. Joseph's Episcopal Church, 8850 Woodward. And they're going to show that movie, Looting Detroit, the movie.
Okay.
Okay,
Good.
they have a series about the bankruptcy, the schools, and the elections, and you can pick up that whole series there.
Okay. Sounds good. All right.
Yes,
Well,
thanks for
thank
that
you.
information.
Yeah.
Okay, we got another caller here. Caller, you on the air?
Hi, good morning,
Happy
Morning.
Tuesday.
George. I just want to let Carl know that that movie's going to be on Channel 7 this Sunday. Following the movie, they'll be having a town hall meeting.
What?
Well, say that
Wait,
again.
what?
That
Sunday,
movie
what?
about the 67 riot.
Yeah, that's
This
July
Sunday at
23rd.
7
Is
o'clock.
No, what?
this coming Sunday Huh?
Yes, on Channel 7.
on Channel 7. Okay, and they're going to show the same movie that's going to be in the theaters? Is that
Yes,
what you,
and a town hall meeting to discuss the movie afterward.
okay. And where's the town hall meeting taking place? Do you know? It's going to be
Right
aired
after
on
the movie on Channel 7.
Oh, okay. Oh, but you don't know where the
What time?
town hall meeting is. The time?
7
Hello?
o'clock.
10 o'clock.
No, you said it's
What?
what?
7.
7 o'clock?
7 p.m. 7 p.m.?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, this Sunday, July 23rd, 7 p.m. on Channel,
Channel
7. The movie about the rebellion and a town hall meeting after. That's interesting. Okay,
Yeah, they've been advertising it on Channel 7 all week.
I see. Okay. Well, there's generally a location where they have some people from the community in the hall, whatever hall. It doesn't necessarily have to be at Channel 7 because they could film it, any number of places.
Places, yeah.
Yeah, with all this technology we got, they can be anywhere. And they have
Well, I hope you
input
can
from
find
the
out where
community.
it is, possibly get involved in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be good
All
to
right.
know.
Have a good one.
Thank
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much
Thank
for
you.
that
Thank you.
information.
Tomorrow,
All kinds
Les
of
Little is
information
going to
there.
be on the panel. I just scroll down the rest. Les Little, Mr. VIP, is going to be on the panel. Tom Barrow, Anita Bell, Victor Collier, Jan Bender are going to all be on the that panel tomorrow.
No, what
Okay,
panel
what
are you
panel we
talking
talking
about?
The
about?
one I just gave you the church on, and then
On Woodward,
yes,
St. Joseph's Episcopal
Right.
Church on Woodward.
What,
Right.
8850
something.
Woodward?
yes.
8850. That's right down from Holly's Church. Okay, and you said 6 p.m., right?
Yes.
Six.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
What-
St.
what-
Matthew, St. Joseph's, St. Matthew, St. Joseph's Church,
Okay.
8850 Woodward in the basement.
That's where the retarees meet.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
City
you, Theo.
retirees.
Thank you,
City
Theo.
retirees,
Thank you for the landmark.
Then
Thank
people
you.
will know that.
Thank you.
I'm big on I'm big on landmarks. Right?
You are. Saves my
Good.
life. Saves my life.
Got another caller
Okay.
here. Caller, you on the air?
All right, y'all.
Oh,
All
there
right.
she is. Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. The rebellion, I think the climate is being reinvented for the rebellion to explode again with the water shutoffs.
Thank you.
With the theft, with the looting of Detroit's pensions, elections, school system. I think this is all the climate that are being reinvented so that this would reoccur. And I think it is important that we tell our own stories, and I'm glad that the young man called in and gave the information so we can get our stories told and not let someone else infiltrate like they always do and tell our stories so they can get the glory for all the lives that they're going to put in and all the etches and sketches that they're going to erase. You know, the truth that they're going to take out and put their lives in. So we need to tell our own story. Theo, I took some people from out of town to tour that park down there on Rosa Park on Grand Boulevard,
Yes.
and the plaque was missing. They redid the park, they enlarged the park, but the plaque of the history was missing. So I don't know if it's because they haven't finished fixing the park, and we don't know if they're going to return any historical
plaque
plaques
back.
that was already out there, and we might need to investigate that, because here we go again, where they want to erase our history so that they can tell the lies and put in their stories and whatever
Right.
they think should be in there and not untruths.
You're right.
So thank
We
you for
have
taking
to
my
keep
call. Love
watching.
you all. Enjoy your day.
All right.
Thank you, caller.
Thanks for calling, Sylvia.
We got
Okay.
a couple more calls.
All right. Go ahead.
Caller, you on air?
Good morning. Good
Happy
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Happy Tuesday.
This is the East Side lady.
Hey,
All
I'm
right.
East
listening
Side.
to y'all talk about the riot, but what year was that? 68, 67?
67.
Oh, you
July
talking about
23rd,
67. See, I know about the
1967.
riots from the 40s.
Sunday morning.
What?
42,
How come they didn't-
42 or 43?
44 in the city of Detroit.
See, that's what I was talking about. Carl.
I think it was 44 in the city of Detroit because I was about 7 years old.
Well, I know it was one in 42.
And we had, that was the worst, that was a riot.
Uh-huh.
They beat, and in 67 on Woodward, remember the streetcars that they had on Woodward Avenue?
Yes.
And on Hastings, they had streetcars.
Okay, I'm
And
not familiar with
they
Hastings.
beat, the
Yeah.
police jumped on there and beat these black people with billy clubs in the face and everything on Woodward Avenue and on Hastings. And we had Ben Turbin on Hastings Street.
Yeah, what?
And
Ben
they
Turbin,
would
he's
beat
a
up
police
people
officer.
at the riot. They had all the pawn shops and all the things down there. And they would do all of this stuff. They're not going to show the stuff that's going to be really hurting black people. They're going to show you what the white people was trying to do to everything. But see, black people shouldn't even go and see that mess. Because it's not true. It's not true. Tell the truth about what happened in the city of Detroit. I was born and raised here, and I remember the riots from the 40s, and I was a little girl. I remember the riot in 67. I remember all these so-called little sticky raids. And at Sacred Heart, they used to take the men out to Belle Isle. All the people that was in the riot, they would pick them up in police cars and wagons and stuff and take them out to Belle Isle and make them stay out there for days until the priest went out there and got them. And that was at Belle Isle in 67.
I had
And
a
I
friend
know
that ended
about
up out
that
there at
real
Belle
well
Isle.
because we were
Yeah.
helping Father Thomas and them go out there and get these people from Belle Isle.
They were looting up on Avenue of Fashion. I understand.
Oh, yes. They did everything in the city of Detroit, and they just hurt black people. But see, black people done got to the point where they hate each other now themselves, and they don't help each other anymore. They're fighting against each other. The money is there. Their sons and stuff are going to be mayors and everything in the city of Detroit. And we're still going to be bringing this same stuff up over again, over again, over again. And see, if they told the truth, it would be okay because there were so many people that got killed in the 40s and in the 67s, too. A lot of people got killed. They really got killed at that hotel over there on the boulevard near Grand River. They killed 2 or 3 black people over there.
Yeah,
The
no,
police
that's
department on the east side of Jefferson and St. Jean, they had them in the basement and they killed them over there too.
Well, that's why we talking about it here, so the people can hear the
Because
other
they did a
side
lot of
and hear
things,
the
but we
truth.
got to come together as as a so-called people in the city of Detroit and stop just getting money and then you talk about your own race of people. And I want to get this thing, and me and Didi and them got some papers, and give Theo one when we get one made. You know what I'm talking about, Didi?
Yes.
Give her one, and give Kyle one.
Kyle read it
Because y'all
already.
got to know about what happened in the city of Detroit. And during the last election, you got to know about that also, because this has something to do with the riots, too, to keep the black people from knowing what they were doing with the money that belonged to us. You know, so that's all I want to say. But Didi, you keep up the good work, and Theo, you do the same thing because y'all do an excellent job. But
Thank
I
you.
want to get into this, but we got to find out the truth. What they're saying is not the truth. That streetcar on Woodward and the one on Hastings was full of blood when they was beating these black people in the head with the backs of their guns and stuff. But nobody's telling that part.
Right.
Nobody's telling that part. And I mean, they really busted them up. And I was a little girl when the first one started in the 40s. I remember that, and I still remember that. It was so much blood on Hastings and Benton Street, and I lived on Benton.
Well, thanks for telling it here.
And thank y'all for listening
That's why
to me.
we here. We want the people to hear the other side and what actually really
Okay,
happened.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Caller, you on the air?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please speak
Billy can
up.
hear you.
Good to see you, Didi. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm JD's
Speak
cancer
up.
spiritual buddy.
Oh,
So it's really good to see you.
how you doing?
Pardon me?
I just said, how are you?
I'm okay. How about yourself?
Great, great, great. Thank you.
That's good. That's good. I didn't grow up here. I'm not a native Detroiter, but I started coming to visit my sisters and stuff. They moved up here in the early 70s. Now, 5 years ago, Southfield Public Library had a event, and they did a documentary on the rebellion and the one in the 40s, which was 1943. That's when that one happened. But it was so interesting because most of the people there were a part of that rebellion in 67. So they had so much documentaries, they had films, they had everything. And they just relived what happened. And I thought that was just so interesting. I wasn't a part of it, but it was just so interesting because these people actually lived through it and they talked about it. So I wish I had the information. I don't know what happened to it. Well, that could be a part too if you all ever got together and did your own thing on it, so we can all hear the truth.
Right.
Now, I just want to say one thing about
Well,
Douglas.
go
I know
make it
that-
quick because we're down on time.
Okay, right quick. I was on a street. I think it was North Lawn off of 6 Mile, and he was there paving that street, and every yard had a sign with Duggan in it. So that's all I had to say. And you all
Okay.
have a great day.
Thank you, caller.
Okay.
Thank you.
There's a ground troop, and they tell me that they knock on somebody's door and say, "Can I put a sign in your yard?" And the people say, "Yeah." They get paid $2.50 for convincing people to let them put a sign in the yard. You know,
Well,
it's part of campaigning. That's all.
well, this is the fastest hour in show business, as Hassan say. It's time for us to sign off.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
Anytime,
Can I give
anytime,
the number
anytime.
right quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
248-234-2371 about the celebration Sunday, July 30th, and we need you to help us celebrate the 25th birthday of Hood Research.
Good research.
Be there.
Peace.
Peace.